Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Dither Boy beginner's guide. In the last video, I talked to you about the signal chain within Dither Boy, which consists of your imported image, the adjustments to that image, the dithering, and then any effects that you add on top. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about one of those effects because it is one of the effects we get asked about a lot. So I'm just going to very quickly explain it, and that is the Chromatic Effects option in Dither Boy. So before I get started, it'd be helpful if you have watched the first part of the Dither Boy beginner's guide for this, but you don't need to have watched that. If you just want to understand what the chromatic effects in Dither Boy are, then I'm going to explain that right now basically. I've already got Dither Boy open here, and I've got just this test image open that I'll be using in all of the Dither Boy beginner's guide videos. So I'm going to load in a Floyd Steinberg dither on this, and I'm not really going to touch any of the dithering settings here. We're just going to jump straight into clicking on this little plus button to add an effect, and then we're going to come down to Chromatic Effects and toggle it on. Now, when you first toggle on the chromatic effects, nothing happens. If you move the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel, nothing happens. That's because you need to up the max displace slider. Once you up the max displace slider, you are setting basically the strength of the other three sliders. So just to demo, first of all, the max displace slider before I explain anything else to you, if I set the green channel at 50, the red channel at 0, and the blue channel at 100, so they're 50, 50, 50, equally spaced, and then just move the max displace slider, you can get a visual demo of what is being referred to by max displace. It is the maximum distance that these channels can be displaced from one another. This means that you can use the red, green, and blue sliders to basically set up the kind of convergence or alignment that you want or don't want for each of these channels, and then use the maximum displace slider to tone it down or rein them in or blow them out even more. So in a nutshell, that's what these controls do. However, there is a reason that we added this to Dither Boy. There is a reason that this works so well with dithering, and there's a reason that this works well particularly in combination with other effects in this app. As you know from the signal chain video, the chromatic effects occur after the dither, which means they are also after any adjustments that you make and any color setup that you might apply to your dither. And if I zoom in and we just pick a particular little cluster of pixels here, you can see when I've got monochrome enabled, so that's just black and white, when I move these sliders around, you are essentially taking a copy, or what looks like a copy, of the dithering pattern here, and you are shifting the red channel or the green channel or the blue channel out of alignment so that the pixel is no longer white. Now, there are two basic different types of chromatic aberration. One of them is a film/photography one where it's to do with lenses and light. That is not the type of chromatic aberration that we are aiming to replicate in Dither Boy. What we are trying to replicate is a more analog, retro TV, retro screen style aberration. It's digital. So if you ever have read anything about chromatic aberration and how it relates to lenses and light, that is a different type of chromatic aberration to this. This is literally just splitting your white channel into the three color channels that produce white so that you can produce either just red, green, and blue like fringing, or so you can align two of the channels to get this yellow and blue effect, or so you can basically do some blending and create shades of pink, cyan, or yellow, all just from the white dots. In a digital color space, in RGB, white is made of three channels, red, green, and blue, just set to max. So if you open up your software of choice like Affinity or Photoshop or whatever it is, and you do a color picker, even here in Dither Boy, if I go to this color picker for the main channel here, you'll see that white is just 255 red, 255 green, and 255 blue. So if I turn the red to 0 and the green to 0 here, so we've got a fully blue dither, and then I reset my chromatic effects to default, turn them on, turn up the max displace, and then move the red channel or the green channel, literally nothing happens because there is no red or green in this image anymore. If I move the blue channel, the entire dither will move. So now if I leave it so red and blue are both at 50 but green is all the way out at 100, and come back here, click on this color picker and add in 255 green, you'll see that the chromatic aberration kicks in for the green channel, but there is still no red, no matter what I do on the red slider, because there is no red in my main color. Red is at 0. There is no red to create chromatic aberration from. So this is a real color channel split for the entire dither effect. If you load in a dithering palette, it's going to have lots of different colors. Like here, if I load in the acidic color palette from the abstract category, there'll be all sorts of different hues in this one. So all 3 color channels will be sort of compatible with the effect. But once you understand that this is actively splitting a color channel into 3 and just moving those 3 based on your max displace input, you'll be able to use the chromatic effects a little bit more intentionally in your dithering. These might evolve in the future, so in future updates I'm hoping to expand how the chromatic effects work, which is why I didn't name it chromatic aberration, because we might add a little bit more to it. But if you ever wanted to understand a little bit more about why this works, how it does, why sometimes you might not get the result you're wanting, or why sometimes you only can get the red channel to move around but not the green or the blue, then hopefully that explained it for you and it makes a little bit more sense now. In the next video, I'm going to talk about epsilon glow and why it works so well in combination with the chromatic effects, and just explain how it works overall. If you want something cool to pair with the chromatic effects, then the next video will be very useful for you as well. Trying to keep these really simple and focused on just one topic. So that's it for this video. Everything I've explained about the chromatic effects here works the same no matter what dithering algorithm you use. It is just a channel split. So if you wanted to get something a little bit better out of it than what I got here today while I was demoing it, you can just work this in with your usual workflow in Dither Boy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.